So, that said, the show Billions. I mentioned to you guys in the episode. I don't remember how in depth I got into it, but I think they're in their third season now. I've only seen season 1, and I saw it all on the plane on my way to India. Well, the majority of it on the way to India, and then I finished it off on the way back. I think I saw 7 episodes back to back on the plane on the way over there, which is fucking 7 hours of the TV show. And it was that good because it kept me into it the entire time. It's a really good show, and I'm glad season 2 is done already, so I can like binge watch that when I get around to it. But takeaways from season 1 was, first off, the soundtrack for the show I think was dope. Like, I got like a couple songs actually that I think I played in the outro of the India episode that I heard for the first time, that I liked, that I thought were dope. Like, the song choice just like vibed really well with the storyline and the characters. And one of the songs was Gotta Serve Somebody by Bob Dylan. And another one was I Just Might by Ryan Adams. Both I heard for the first time, along with other songs like throughout the series, but those like stood out most to me. And I actually like Shazammed it and shared it with you guys on that past episode, the India episode. So yeah, the soundtrack is like pretty dope. Then the 2 main characters, one played by Paul Giamatti, which is one of my favorite actors, and the other played by a really, really good actor that I don't know his name, but he played Brody in the show Homeland. Let me look up his name. Damian Lewis is his name. He's a dope actor as well. And I really like their characters in this story because to me they're like 2 sides of the same coin. For those of you that haven't watched the show, Damian Lewis's character, Bobby Axelrod, aka Axe, is like this hedge fund, multi-millionaire, dude that flirts with the pushing the boundaries of insider trading and illegal Wall Street type shit that everyone in Main Street hates. And Paul Giamatti's character is the attorney general, or an attorney general who hasn't lost the case and is bent on getting Damian Lewis's character, or indicting Damian Lewis's character for like insider trading and money laundering, etc., like any fraudulent shit that he may be into. So to me, they're 2 sides of the same coin in a couple different ways. So you can see that in like Paul Giamatti's character in terms of following the rule of law and work and just the way he carries himself in general. He seems much more measured, much more like by the book, if you will. Much more cognizant of the optics and how things look and how things seem, etc. But he has emotional, irrational outbursts. And when he fucks up is because he gives into that emotional side of himself. Whereas on the flip side, Damian Lewis's character, Axe, is much more calculating, much more like driven in a way that he's like up to something. There's always like an ominousness. I don't even know if that's a word, ominousness to him. But he's very emotionless when fucked up, crazy, unexpected shit happens. He doesn't act out of impulse as much, I felt, when you would expect him to. But then on the flip side, he does act out of like emotion and impulse when you don't expect him to. So he's like wilder and like more off the cuff when it comes to stuff like that. He doesn't give a shit about how things look or optics or anything like that. He just wants what he wants, and he's like driven towards that. He wants a multi-million-dollar house, he gets it, regardless of how that looks, regardless of it, if that does and will increase the likelihood that he's investigated for insider trading and flaunting money and, you know, that type of shit. You see this on a smaller scale when these kind of like character traits when it comes to their meditation practices, which I think is cool in and of itself, that there is meditation is becoming more of like a prevalent type of thing that people are seeing like more and more, like in movies, TV shows, and, you know, speaking about, reading about, etc. And so I think just that in and of itself is cool. But there's separate scenes that you see them both meditating, like they're both into meditation, and you see that Paul Giamatti's character has his very specific routine or routines, and he schedules his meditation, and he does his meditation, and as soon as his meditation finishes, he gets his alarm for his first meeting of the day, etc., and he has that habit, and he has that schedule, and he sticks to it. Whereas Axe also meditates, but it shows him kind of like trying to fit meditation into his schedule, trying to find time for it, and when he does, and he gets a phone call, he interrupts that meditation, and he doesn't have that structure. He's like searching for it, kind of, and, you know, wanting to meditate and stuff like that, but he's not sticking to it. He's letting shit interfere with stuff that he has had planned. So too much of the outside world is messing with his internal world. And I thought that was like an interesting distinction or juxtaposition between the two characters. And lastly, it ended super dope with a long dialogue between the two. You guys know I love like dialogue and monologues and stuff like that. There was like a long dialogue between the two, which I thought was great. And it ended, spoiler alert, with highlighting the fact that one has unlimited resources, which is the multimillionaire hedge fund guy, versus the other, which is the public servant that has nothing to lose. You know, just got his wife kicked him out, got divorced. That's a whole other like storyline in and of itself, which is pretty sick, because she actually works for the firm that the other guy owns, like as a psychologist. But he paints it as, you know, he has nothing to lose, versus, which is like an equally powerful position in terms of going head to head. Someone with unlimited resources, how do you match that if you don't have unlimited resources? Literally by having nothing to lose, because you can go as hard as you want to go, as you feel you need to go. Because like you have nothing to worry about anymore. You're not worried about losing your family because you already did. You're not worried about your career. You're not worried about money because you don't have any. Versus the other guy who is worried about money and holding on to it, etc. That's kind of like an anchor, something that holds him back from being able to go as hard as he would otherwise want to go. And he's technically limited by the unlimited resources that he has. So yeah, I just thought that was a dope way to end the season. It was an awesome season, and definitely looking forward to seeing season 2 of Billions.